Trey Lance. I know you've been watching a lot of Trey Lance. I know you're enthusiastic about him. You know I'm not. So you make the case for Trey.
So, I mean, you brought up Andy Dalton, right? And I want to preface everything that I'm about to say about Trey Lance with this. If you draft Trey Lance, you have to have a proven starter.
You like Jordan Love last year.
Yeah.
Like Jordan Love
Trey Lance is not ready to play.
No.
Okay? This isn't a plug-and-play thing. This isn't, you know, if you want to throw Zach Wilson into the fire, all these other guys, okay. But Trey Lance is not there. Again, I made this case when I jumped on, you know, with you, you know, real quick on your call show. So I just picture Trey Lance right now. You know, Debo in motion, Mostert to the right. The linebackers are sitting there trying to figure out who has the ball. Now you have a quarterback that can actually pull that thing in and now take off, and it adds another dimension, right? I think that everybody's talking point about what they don't like about Trey Lance should have been used for Mitchell Trubisky.
Ooh, yeah, they're very similar in terms of their resume. Yes.
Okay, so
in fact, they have no resume.
Right. People can't in one breath tell me that they were all in on Mitchell Trubisky or that high, and tell me that you're right, but and tell me that you're completely
and now I'm switching. But I'm trying to like learn from my past mistakes, basically. But yeah, you're right. I'm trying. That's the way I'm looking at it. It's like, hey, I was real wrong on Mitchell Trubisky. How can I make sure I don't make that mistake again? But keep going.
Right. So I mean, you can't like in one breath, you know, say, oh, I'm okay with Trubisky with his short, you know, with his short resume, and then say, oh, I'm all out on Trey Lance. Look, I get it. Again, there's a lot of guys that, you know, you want to draft and you want to play them right away. Trey Lance is not one of those guys. You do need to see, and I don't want any 49er fans to yell at me. I'm not predicting this, but I could see a world where Jimmy and Lance are there next year.
Yeah, I could
like
too.
It would like you can't just move away from a guy until you have somebody else, right? So it could be Jimmy and Lance, and then, you know, who knows what happens from there. But then that's down the line. As far as Trey Lance goes, what I noticed is big arm, not a fast guy like that. You know, he can move, though, and that's better than what the 49ers have at this point.
Yeah.
And
big arm can move. Big guy, too. He's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think he set the college football record for attempts without an interception or something like that. You know, I understand competition is definitely something that you should think about as well too. But you know, shout out to Javi. He's really opened my eyes to scout the player, not the school, scout the player, scout and don't scout the competition, right? And again, when it comes to pressure on quarterbacks, college football, none of these guys are really seeing pressure. You know, and then there's chinks in the armor for everybody, right? Trevor Lawrence seems to be a one-read guy. Sometimes throws some baffling picks where I'm just like, you know, to automatically say he's Andrew Luck or Peyton Manning with wheels out the gate.
They all have weaknesses. They're all 22.
Exactly. Nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect.
No.
So that's my thing. So with Trey Lance, what you're doing is it's trying to build, you know, like you said. So I think I've heard you say this before, right? You keep drafting quarterbacks until it works.
Yeah.
Trey Lance, you know, again, you don't have to pay him much because he might fall, right?
Right.
And you just have him sit there. So I don't have a problem with Jimmy or another veteran quarterback as long as there's Trey Lance there. You cannot just roll Trey Lance out there. You can't do that.
Look, I'm not going to say that Trey Lance is definitely going to be a bust. I don't know. He's 22. He might have the greatest work ethic of all time. He may improve. All I'm saying is first-round pick on Trey Lance and his 208 completions in his career. Look, to me, he'd be a great pick in round 4. I mean, he's got so much upside. But right now, he runs better than he throws. Like, he has a good arm, but being a quarterback isn't just throwing. I mean, it's so many things beyond how you throw. It's how you read the field, how you navigate the pocket. He doesn't have any experience navigating a pocket because he played on the best team in 1AA football. Not his fault. It's interesting. I remember Carson Wentz. He was, you know, he didn't play that much at North Dakota State either. He had like a season and a half. He got hurt. People were like, you know what? He doesn't have the competition. He doesn't have the resume, but he's really, really athletic. And if I remember correctly, in like early January, he wasn't considered a top 2 pick, but then he went to the Senior Bowl and killed it. And people were like, well, look at him in this context. I mean, he's around the best seniors in the country and he's killing it. So Lance could prove himself at the Senior Bowl. I expect that when Lance gets there, he's going to look remedial as a passer. And maybe I'm just being mean, but I think he's going to look like a guy who's going to need to sit on the bench for 2, maybe 3 years. And then the thing about that is now you've wasted your first-round pick. I mean, I'd be cool with taking him on day 3, maybe even late day 2, but in day 1,
I don't think he makes it there.
I know, of course he doesn't make it there. Jordan Love didn't make it there. He's too athletic. But a guy like that, you take him in round 1, you're going to have a lot of pressure to play him pretty quick, unless you have Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
So
yeah, I don't think Trey Lance. I don't think anybody confuses him with a first rounder or anything like that. But like, yeah, okay. expect him if he shows out at the Senior Bowl, like you said, expect it. Then expect to jump up.
No doubt. If he's the Senior Bowl MVP, he could be the #2 pick in the draft. I just don't expect it. I just don't. And also, I think deep down, Carson Wentz is killing Trey Lance's stock. Even if that's not fair, because you said scout the player, not the school. And but I think a lot of these coaches' minds, owners' minds are like, hey, well, if maybe North Dakota is a pipeline. And now they're like, well, maybe it's not.
And see, here's the thing, right? So here's the thing. And we all agree that Trey Lance is a project, right? Can we throw out the school doesn't make quarterbacks, right? Cal didn't make quarterbacks until Aaron Rodgers. Texas Tech didn't make quarterbacks until Patrick Mahomes. Wyoming didn't make quarterbacks until Josh Allen.
And if you think about it, that's two of the main reasons that Rodgers and Mahomes fell. Because people had put up numbers at Texas Tech. Now, not numbers like Mahomes, but people had put up numbers at Texas Tech before it didn't translate. Kyle Bowler put up numbers under Tedford, and he was a bust. And people were like, oh, well, you can't trust Aaron Rodgers' numbers. Now, I went to those games, and I watched Kyle Bowler and Aaron Rodgers when I was in high school. I saw the difference. If you actually paid attention, you could see. Because Kyle Bowler wasn't winning big games like Rodgers. Anyway, we're getting off topic.
No,
but yes, you're right. You're right. So anyway, Lance, I'm not rooting against him, and he would be an interesting project for someone, but I just feel so much more comfortable as a team taking him after round 1. So he could actually afford to sit on the bench for maybe 3 years.
He's a risk for sure, and it would be easier to take this risk if you had Rodgers, Wilson, somebody like that. Like if you were trying to figure out, like I'm not saying that, Wilson's not old, or anything like that, but I'm just saying It would be so much easier if you had one of those top guys and you were trying to pick, like to have Lance, and then we still don't know what we have at the quarterback position if Jimmy returns and stuff. Yeah, that's where the risk is. Like you better make sure that he's the guy, right? So that's the thing. Again, I'm not advocating for you to move up to get Trey Lance. All I'm saying is if you draft Trey Lance, you better have a quarterback that can actually start day one because he can't.
No question. Yeah. Here's the thing. Last thing I want to say about Lance. I consider him a running back right now, which sounds mean, but I was talking to a coach recently.
He used to play running back.
Right. I was talking to a coach. I was born in '88. I didn't see Steve Young at BYU. And this coach said, look, when Steve Young left BYU, he was a running back. He was a glorified running back. He could throw a little bit, but he wasn't polished. And he went to Tampa and played right away and stunk. Really stunk. And then he had to go and sit on the bench for a long time and learn the position. And he ended up being one of the all-time greats. If Trey Lance is afforded the opportunity to sit on the bench and learn from an all-time great, he could become one too. But maybe the Niners are that position. Maybe they are that team, man. I don't know. But if Jimmy's a starter, Trey Lance is playing by week 3.
Nah, see, that's another thing, right? So if Jimmy's there and he's the guy, then you better prepare Lance for week 4, week 5, week 6. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Because if you take Lance and you keep Jimmy, you're probably not really making many changes on the offensive line, and get ready to see Trey Lance.